Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. For today's video I thought we would look at some of the, I guess, more vintage or more cult-like pieces from Louis Vuitton, because I know there's been a bit of a resurgence and interest in these pieces, probably due to Kylie Jenner or Kim Kardashian. I'm not sure why, but there's certainly been a bit of a revival of, you know, it's perfectly acceptable to carry the Monogram Multicolor or, you know, some of those more iconic pieces. And I had, I guess as a younger person, purchased a couple of pieces, so I thought I'd share a few of those with you. This particular bag was called the Mini Ribera. It did not come with this strap, but it came with the option of attaching a strap due to these extra little hooks here on the handle. So this particular one was my first ever Louis Vuitton bag. I got it as my 18th birthday present, which was super generous from my parents and very fortunate. It was a bag that I actually did love, and I was very lucky that they chose that for me. So this guy has held up really well. I wouldn't say that I've used it every week or every day or anything, but it certainly doesn't look like it is, now I'm going to show my age, it certainly doesn't look like it's nearly 14 years old. So that one there is so beautiful, and it was actually only recently that I purchased this additional strap, because they still make these and they're so handy to have. And this one I find is a really great length. I think there's a few different sizes. But I had purchased this, I think, the beginning of last year, just so I could then have a little bit more versatility, because obviously with a top handle and a top handle of a bag this size, it can be a little bit limiting. So that gave it that kind of cooler, more effortless edge, and it's kind of breathed new life into it, I think. It's a beautiful bag nonetheless. I get a lot of compliments when I'm carrying it, because it is kind of timeless, like really completely timeless. Moving on to something that's probably a little bit more cult and kind of, I guess, not so timeless, but so fun. This is the Mini Pleaty in the Denim, Monogram Denim. So I had purchased this, oh gosh, I can't remember what year it was, basically when this particular style was released. And fun fact, well, not so fun fact, when I had purchased this initially, I started experiencing a lot of chipping on the hardware of the clasp. So obviously with this, I think they call it a koala clasp, you're kind of forced to, you know, it snaps in that way, but it absolutely started chipping in ways that it shouldn't have, and they were great to replace the bag completely at the time. So that's this guy, and it's so cute. It certainly is a great size. I think it's interesting with bags, especially as technology advances and, you know, you carry these different devices and different size devices. Sometimes bags don't really hold up in terms of their versatility, you know, carrying into the now. So this guy, you can still certainly fit everything, and it's perfectly acceptable little bag to carry. I know this became a little bit of a thing now to revisit because of the, as I said, I think it might be, I don't know, a few of those celebrities have been seen carrying them and doing little throwbacks to this bag. So that one there was a really, I think, just a super cutie. You can do that with white t-shirt and then jeans, do the denim on denim thing in an interesting way. And it's just one of those, I'm a bit of a hoarder, so I would never sell, but it's one of those things that I would hold on to forever, and obviously haven't felt the need to pass it on. Now this is actually, interestingly, something that I didn't obtain when it was first released, but something I recently purchased from somebody else as a second-hand purchase, and I was just always so in love with this little panda. I think it's super cute, super sweet, and I love how at the back you've got the, you know, the backside of the panda. This is, of course, a Murakami collaboration. Takashi Murakami, great Japanese artist, who, again, is still very popular and very sought after now. which is great. I think this one was released in 2003, so it's still very much relevant. And it's also, I guess, something that I haven't really used. I've used it since purchasing it, but I haven't used it with this shoulder strap. I actually have used it with the Pochette Matisse, that longer crossbody strap in the Monogram, and that looks really cool just as a crossbody bag and still continues the line of the bag with the Monogram. So I found that that's a really cool way to reinvigorate that one, and just a little bit of fun. Of course, with the silk screened pieces, the silk screen printed pieces, you have to be very wary of overuse and I guess chipping of the print. It's probably not something you want to have happen. In fact, speaking of that, when I think this was going back to 2008, I purchased this little guy when I was in Dubai. Used it really frequently, so you can probably appreciate that just from looking at it. But the Monogram, in fact, has chipped quite significantly, and this is not something that I actually even gave a thought as a possibility. When I was using this as a wallet, I never thought to myself, oh, you know, it could result in chipping of the print, but that's certainly a known effect of overuse, well, of use with these pieces. Especially with a wallet, you kind of manhandle them a little bit more, but the multicolor is certainly something that, you know, people love and continue to love, even though they, you know, discontinued it. So that's certainly something that I always will love from Louis Vuitton. Speaking of multicolor, I had recently purchased this from a consignment store. It's the beautiful Alma in the white multicolor in really, really beautiful condition, I would say. It doesn't have feet on the bottom, so you do have to be mindful of where you're setting it down, and obviously the person who previously owned this took good care of it and was mindful of all those, you know, little things that you kind of have to consider with these pieces. This again, when this sort of came out, I think it was, I want to say 03. It wasn't something that was within my reach at the time, given the price, and I never really from then prioritized it. I think sometimes with these pieces, because they were hanging around, you know, they continued the multicolor for quite some years, and you always think, oh, I'll get it next time, oh, I might be the next one, or it might be the next one, and then suddenly they discontinue it, and then you realize, I missed out. But luckily managed to find one on the pre-loved market, and that was, I think, really great, and still an exciting purchase. And as I said, you know, you can put that print on print and it still looks really fresh and cool, but then you're still throwing back to, you know, a few of those, you know, vintage Louis Vuitton vibes. There's also this little multicolor guy that I really loved when I purchased it. So this was called the Shirley. And I thought this was really handy because it could really operate nicely as an evening bag, or just, you know, carrying it with a little top and jeans, because you've got the little shoulder strap. And this has held up, I would say, quite well, especially with all the natural leather. I think it's honeyed quite nicely. I do take really good care of my bags. Like, I try and be, you know, cautious, careful, but some things are unavoidable and some things do happen. Like, you know, you can probably spot a couple of little watermarks, but nothing too offensive to look at. I think the colors are really fun. I think this guy's, again, really easy to wear. And again, a piece that I would never part with. I just think it's really, you know, some things are moments in time and you just love them and you wouldn't ever do without them. They become part of the story. This one was particularly exciting because it was one of those, you know, the Speedy is so iconic from Louis Vuitton. So, you know, when they do these awesome variations on the Speedy, you kind of do get excited, especially with things that eclipse the monograms. So you've got the, you basically have the sequins sewed onto the canvas in a way that eclipses what is the monogram there underneath This one was from, I think it was a showpiece from 2009, so fall winter '09, and that was just something really special. Again, not something you carry all, every day, all the time, but certainly something that is special to have and beautiful to own. So I think that is somewhat a piece to warrant a little bit of, revisiting. That one did have the feet at the base as well. Still have the plastic coverings on that one because, you just gotta let these things fall off organically, I guess. It's the way I feel. But that one I think is just something really special. Another one that I was really, really hell-bent on obtaining, and I'm gonna say I purchased this in '07. And it is certainly not to everybody's taste, I guess, but I just thought this was rather spectacular. It's, I think it was called the Stratus, and it's just this incredible wrinkled lamb leather with the, acetate trim. Still smells awesome, and it's just got that beautiful plate down there. And this one here, I unfortunately had a few run-ins with denim. So a bit of colour transfer there, but otherwise, again, not something that I carry presently, but just something beautiful that I'll always cherish, because it is such a special bag in my eyes. And I think this also was a showpiece, so it's certainly something with a bit of a story. Beautiful colour too, quite neutral and different. It's almost like that grey blush bone tone, really beautiful. So this guy here, I guess, was a bit more immortalized by some of the Sex and the City films. This one was from Spring Summer '09. I think it's called the African Queen or something to that vein. Again, another showpiece, and I just loved, I don't even know what that textile is. It's quite remarkable. Very spacious on the inside. You get a really beautiful kind of display of space, and really fits kind of effortlessly under the arm when you're carrying it to an event, or just, if you want to just have quite a fab clutch for during the day. This guy, I think they also did a plain variation without the eyelet and the little bead detailing, and I think that was called the Monogram Limelight from memory. But this one I just thought, I remember buying it, basically walking in, getting so excited that it was there, and I distinctly remember sitting on the bus with this bag and the shopping bag on my lap thinking, this is just bizarre. You've just gone and bought this ridiculous clutch and you're sitting on the bus going home. But beautiful, beautiful bag. I guess the other one that I had purchased, I'm going to say in '08, was, this is a classic. It's just your little Pochette accessoire, but in the Damier Azur. So this is timeless. Super fresh in the Damier Azur. I, at the time, purchased this little keychain piece because Lord knows that does not fit under your arm comfortably. So you put this little extender keychain, and then you can wear it very, very, very comfortably under the arm. And I just think that's super cute. I traveled with this one quite a bit, took it to, Greece and things overseas, just so if I wanted a nice bag option, this would be the easy summer option to carry. And that one was really just one of those easy pieces. And of course the Pochette accessoire is still very much a cult item among people and favorites for now. Yeah, so I guess that was it for my little vintage Louis Vuitton collection. I think it's all still very relevant. Everything eventually comes around, and I think as much as Monogram is having a resurgence and branding, I guess a lot of brands, whether it be Fendi, Gucci, they're all kind of, and Dior, bringing out the oblique again, really revitalizing that. I think Monogram will always have a place and always be around, whether it's on trend right now or not. I think there's always going to be that definite love towards you know, that classic Louis Vuitton heritage monogram, and even the Damier, where I believe was introduced before the monogram itself. So they're exciting pieces, and I hope to see you in my next video. Thank you for viewing. Bye.